Hey there and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug video. And so not all that long ago, I made a video talking about the new trailers and teasers that have been released for Miraculous, and what they revealed about the upcoming episodes of Season 5. And in that video, I kind of ragged on the production and the scheduling side of things. That if they weren't going to be able to release the episodes in any sort of timely fashion, that they shouldn't have bothered releasing any at all so soon. And yeah, obviously this isn't all the fault of the company, but still, some fault does lay on their shoulders. And in the off period, that long wait between the world premiere of the second episode and the release of the third, there's been a bit of a downswing in the franchise's popularity. Videos get less views, posts get less attention, there's fewer theories and discussion threads, people are just less invested overall, and literally as I made that video, we got blasted with trailer after trailer after trailer. Hell, a new one's just coming out for Destruction. And as usual, I was proved the fool, as the fandom awakened from its slumber and started freaking out over every single release and brought itself back to life overnight. And so yeah, all my bluster about how the fandom could be dying after all these delays and shit, I was wrong. Happy to admit it. People are back in force ready for the releases, eating up the trailers and leaked images and getting hyped for the future. Talking about literally anything under the sun. And in some cases, even complaining that we're getting swamped with too much all at once. And honestly, I know it does sound a bit ungrateful, but I kind of have to agree a little bit. It's like telling somebody you're thirsty, and so they blast you with a high pressure hose. On one hand, yeah, thanks for trying, mate. And on the other hand, calm down and take a step back, cool the jets, please. There's just so much new information and visuals that everybody needs to try to come to grips with. God, there's just so many leaks. I'm talking stills from episodes, I'm talking 3D models, clips, whether they have sound or they're silent. Even down to crazy shit like actual plot points being leaked, or that awkward moment the production bible leaked onto the internet and the fandom lost their collective mind. And I don't mean to judge people who love all the spoilers, right? But how much is too much? I know I do have a tendency to become a thirsty hoe for spoilers in certain franchises, but in those franchises, you usually have to dig through all the shit to find the spoilers. For Miraculous, there almost seems to be this collective urge to share them with everybody, and so you see them crop up everywhere. And like, beyond it kind of getting annoying having so much on my screen, it doesn't really bother me. But does it actively hinder the fandom as a whole? At this stage, we are ripping through spoilers like a kid rushing downstairs to open up their Christmas presents under the tree. But does that spoil some of the fun? Does it kill discussion and theorizing when we already know so much about the story being told? And every season, it gets more and more pronounced. We go from the TV studios unleashing heavy spoilers in trailers, and people hated that at the time. And we go from that to minor leaks like stills, and now it feels like everything's just open season. Nothing's off limits, and leakers are chasing clout everywhere, desperate to earn some internet points. Or are simply becoming disgruntled with their employers and want to vent their frustrations by punishing everybody. And really, the last thing I want to be is some lame virtue signaler shaking my fist at these damn kids and their spoilers. How dare they have fun? But at what point does the spoiler culture start to stagnate the fandom? At what point do the spoilers hit that point of, ooh, maybe we're doing too much. This isn't as fun anymore. Or have we already hit that point? I don't know myself, honestly, but I do think it's something to ponder. And yeah, so today, since I'm a delicious hypocrite, we're going to go through some of these things, because let's be honest, they're just flooding us right now, and there are things I want to go through in this video aside from complaining. But I don't think I'm going to go through every single little thing, just the big stuff. Otherwise, my brain's going to melt out of my ears, and I don't think that's something I'm really all that interested in. Plus, I don't have an extra 10 years on hand to cram all these news leaks and spoilers into one mega video. Have mercy on my soul, please. Plus, I also don't know the policy on this sort of shit, and I have no interest in earning the anger of TV companies, so I'll err on the side of caution here. So really, we're just going to talk about the news I find to be the most important and major. And so I'd say that the biggest and most important news of all is that we have a shit ton of release dates for upcoming episodes for Season 5, and so we'll briefly go over them now, and then talk a little bit more in depth about them. So, Episode 3, Destruction, is set to release on the 22nd of October. Episode 4, Jubilation, on the 26th. Episode 6, Determination, on the 28th. And then Episode 7, 8, and 5, Passion, Reunion, and Illusion, in 3 consecutive days, 3 days after the release of Determination. And yeah, I do have a number of thoughts about this, but there are probably only 2 or 3 of these thoughts that actually matter whatsoever. The first of these is, lol. Definitely looks like all the TV companies are starting to scramble to try and get the world premiere to themselves and leech away views from their competition. It's so weird to think that these channels are competing internationally with each other over the release of this animation. TV channels that would normally never go head to head like this, suddenly fighting tooth and nail to get those tasty viewers in clout. What even is this timeline? How do things happen like this? We go from literally no hint of an episode, wandering through the desert of delays and dried up leaks, and slowly but surely, we begin to die of thirst. And in the distance, you think you see some water, and as you approach, you realize it's actually a massive tidal wave and you're about to get washed away. That's pretty much what's happened with the release of all these episodes. So here we are, 6 episodes back to back, all released over a couple of weeks. It's like this show actually has a normal release schedule for once. It almost feels wrong. Which brings us to the titles themselves. And obviously the titles have a fair bit of importance this season in comparison to what's come before, where it was usually just the villain's name. We have Destruction first, and simply based on that, it feels like a Cat Noir focused episode. And then we have episodes for the goat, the pig, and the ox, and the fox as well. And so that's a couple of what I'd assume to be more minor episodes in the grand scheme of things, with Destruction and Illusion probably being more significant simply because they're associated with characters that have miraculouses that are far more major. And this brings us to the third major element I took away from these dates. It's that, once again, we're out of order. Only by 1 episode, but still, is it too much to ask for this kind of shit to not happen? In the early days of the show, it didn't matter as much. There really weren't many, if any, season-spanning plot lines, and the majority of the episodes were self-contained and didn't impact the story too much. There were a small handful of exceptions to this, of course, but for the most part, that was it. And so when things aired way out of order, it didn't really matter too much. But as they started adding more and more narrative elements, the show got wonkier and wonkier whenever they tried to deviate from that linear release schedule. Things would suddenly be different to how you remembered them. Plot points that hadn't been revealed yet were suddenly supposed to be common knowledge, and the story just ended up feeling kind of off. And that would get worse and worse each season. Even if there weren't as many episodes out of order, those that were interrupted the story flow even more as the story became more and more interconnected, and the narrative more complex. And I think it makes it worse that it seems to be one of those episodes that I've pegged as being more significant. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about the whole thing, but I do think that Illusion's going to be one of the earlier big episodes. And so for it to air out of order definitely runs the risk of a couple of episodes feeling a little bit off without that added context. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be anything season breaking and nothing that would really kill the enjoyment of the season itself, but at the same time, it's one of those frustrating little things that kind of takes you out of the moment. It could be worse, but it is still quite annoying. And so yeah, that's all I really have to say about the leaks and spoilers. I think I'm getting a bit tired of them, to be honest. It's getting past the point of fun, and into the realm of being quite tedious. And these episodes go for what, like 20 minutes? Maybe let's not spoil every single one of those minutes. And so, with all that being said, these are just my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of what I had to say? You agree with me? Disagree? How do you feel about all these release dates that we've been hit with? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.